Dear students, today under the subject of business environment, topic we are going to learn is regional imbalances. As the word itself says, imbalance in the different regions of our country, it could be in the parameter of economics, on the parameter of health or education or the infrastructure or the quality of life. The different parameter which says that there is imbalance in our country are the topic of interest for today to study. Different economists has predicted unevenness in economy due to the certain different reasons. Mr. Karl Marx has said that capitalist development would inherently result in uneven distribution of wealth. It might not be the only reason for the uneven development or uneven distribution of wealth, but surely there is uneven distribution of wealth in our country. As report of Interministry Task Group 2005 says, the subcontinental dimension of India with inherent differences in geographical parameters and historical developments have led to disparities in the level of development of different areas owing to difference in resource endowment, levels of infrastructure and socio-economic parameters. It covers that due to certain geographical structure of our country, geographical structure of different regions, historical background of our country and the natural resource endowment, we have not get the even development and even growth in all the regions of our country, which is not a good sign for a healthy economy and a good democracy. To study these regional imbalances and reduce these regional imbalances, Government of India, Planning Commission and various state government has constituted various committees and study groups to study it and make the policies to reduce the regional imbalances. One of the important committee constituted by Government of India was Committee on Dispersal of Industries. Perhaps it might be the first committee constituted by Government of India for the subject of regional imbalances. It was set up in April 1960 and objective was industrialization of rural and underdeveloped area. To determine which area should be considered in a rural area and underdeveloped area, committee decided following indicator to be studied: poverty in relation to low per capita income and consumption, high density of population in relation to employment opportunity and productive resources, consumption of electric power, high incidences of unemployment and gross underemployment. All these 4 parameters are economic parameter which says that what could be the state of the particular district or particular area where people are involved in the various productive resources to make wealth for them. Another committee formed by the Planning Commission is known as Planning Commission Study Group, which was set up in January 1964. Objective was to draft 4th plan 1966-71 with special attention on the backward areas. Again, to redefine which are the areas shall be considered in the backward areas or the underdeveloped areas, Planning Commission asked all the state government to study the different areas over there which should be considered in this category. Classification of backward areas were desert, chronic drought affected areas, border, hills, high tribal density and low income level areas. All those 5 areas were considered as a geographically challenged, natural resource challenged and historically underdeveloped areas. Different indicators for this report selected by the Planning Commissions were as follows: agriculture employment and output, health and education, road connectivity and commercial vehicle. Here we can see a shift from the previous indicators selected by the committee and this group. This group has deliberately selected the parameters like health and education, which are directly relevant with the quality of life indicators. Since 1990, United Nations started using these indicators in their United Nations Development Program, commonly known as UNDP. In health, the parameter decided by the United Nations were birth rate, mortality rate, average age of the people, and in the education, the parameter decided by the United Nations were adult literacy rate, child enrollment in schools, and availability of education institute in the particular areas. Road connectivity and the commercial vehicle is a direct relation with the infrastructure of the particular area. Better the road connectivity, better the accessibility and access of that state or that region to the remaining country. They can always have a better facility for the health and education, and same time they can have better business opportunities in their respective areas. Important committees constituted the various time by the different state governments, central governments and the planning commissions are as follows: Pandey Committee, Vanchu Committee, National Committee on Development of Backward Areas, Fact Finding Committee on Regional Imbalance, Committee on Development of Backward Areas, Committee to identify 100 most poorest and backward districts in the country, and National Commission on Population. All these various committees have studied and presented their report with the different indicators selected by them to reduce the regional imbalances with the given task. Some of the committees were given a special task like water supply management or industrial development or the education or health improvement in the selected areas. Some of the committees were given tasks like a special focus only on the tribal areas or on the areas which are extremist affected. These committees have selected various indicators time to time in the different report as and when required. We shall study 3 important indicators in our class today. These important indicators are economic indicator, infrastructure indicators and quality of life indicators. Economic indicators can be subdivided in the following topic: per capita net state domestic product, foreign direct investment, per capita income, productive resources like industry and agriculture. Infrastructure indicators consist of electricity consumption and commutation, road and railways. Quality of life indicators consist of education and health as an important parameter. There could be different parameters also to study the regional imbalance in the areas. Per capita net state domestic product in the data of 2007 and 8, we can see a huge imbalance in our country. When we look at the India's net state domestic production per capita in Indian currency, it comes to 37,490 rupees with a growth rate of 12.64% per annum, against which union territories like Chandigarh stands on 1,19,240 rupees and Pondicherry stands on 84,625 rupees. But the states which are underdeveloped like Rajasthan stands only on 27,000 rupees and Bihar stands on 12,643 rupees. If we compare Bihar with the Chandigarh, then it is almost 1/10 of the Chandigarh's net STP per capita. Even other states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Punjab range between 45,000 to 50,000 STP per capita, which is comparatively very high than the state like Bihar and Rajasthan. Another important parameter to study the industrial growth in the country is FDI. Since 1991, when Indian government had started the program of liberalization, foreign direct investment has been a key parameter to judge the industrial growth in our country. Foreign investor has always come to the area which has been beneficial for them to do the business, because sole purpose for them to come to the Indian market was generating the business, generating the profit opportunity over here. If we look at the RBI regional offices and we look at the top 5 RBI regional offices, then performance over there over the period of time of April 2000 to the January 2012 is as follows. Mumbai, which covers the state Maharashtra, Dadar and Nagar Haveli Union Territory, stands on $24,11,228 million of investment, which consists of 34% of total inflow in our country. New Delhi stands on 1,46,778, Bangalore on 42,434, and Chennai, which consists of Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry as a union territory, stands on 36,602. Ahmedabad, which consists of the state Gujarat, has a cumulative inflow of $35,927 million US. If we compute all these 5 state regional offices, we see that 70% of total FDI is been concentrated on top 5 regions only. It means the 5 states and 2 union territories consist of 70% of total FDI in our country. Remaining part of the country has just got 30% of total FDI inflow over the period of last decade. But even this FDI is not well spread in the same state. If we take this example of the Mumbai regional office, then we cannot say that entire foreign direct investment which came to Maharashtra has well spread over the Maharashtra. The areas in Maharashtra like Yavatmal, Chandrapur, Gadchiroli has not seen any kind of foreign direct investment in that area, and due to that they still remain poor, become the witness of uneven growth and regional imbalance. If we look at the electrification in our country, which has a direct relationship with the industrialization and the agriculture, this map itself shows a very clear picture that most of the eastern part of our country is in red or orange. As per the indicator, the red color and the orange color shows 0 to 10% and 11 to 25% respectively electrified household per district only in rural households. If the major part of districts has not been electrified in rural areas, then we can imagine the kind of quality of life people are living over there. Literacy rate in states is another important parameter as suggested by United Nations Development Plan to study the quality of life in our country. Though Government of India is putting a lot of effort for the 100% literacy target of our country, still we see a huge imbalance on this parameter. States like Kerala having high literacy rate like 90.86 in 2001 census and 93.9 in 2011 census. Another state like Goa, which has 87.4% literacy rate in both the census, which is very high than the Indian literacy rate 74.04 in 2011 census. But other states like Rajasthan has 67.1% literacy rate in 2011 census and 63.8 for the Bihar in 2011 census. What are the causes behind this regional imbalance? as definition given by the interministry task group. The various factors comes in our mind are geographical isolation, unequal resource endowment, uneven human development, inadequate infrastructure, the governance and poor budgetary resources. We shall discuss all the topic one by one. Geographical isolation. Some states are geographically challenged state. They might be hilly areas, the dense forest or the desert, or they are like in island position where normal access from our country is not feasible. Due to that, the industrial growth, the commutation over there and the business enterprise is not reaching over there in the manner it should have reached. Even historically, Britishers have focused themselves on Calcutta, Madras and Bombay respectively. Current days is Kolkata, Chennai and Mumbai. Due to certain geographical advantage of these locations, Britishers have focused and developed these regions only, and even almost 6 decades after independence, we are seeing these regions are leading in all the parameters of economy rather than any other regional areas. Unequal resource endowments. Nature has gifted its resources to the different region in a different manner. Some of the states have high mineral resources or the water resources, which helps them in getting heavy royalty or high tax revenue by the mineral resources and the employment opportunity in that area, or due to the good water resources across the year, availability of water has helped them in getting a good agriculture or the cash crops in that area. We shall keep in mind that natural resources or the availability of resources does not mean that only availability can solve the problem. This resources should be in a reach, resource should be in the capacity of the profitable mining and infrastructure should be there. Uneven human development again has played a key role in the regional imbalance, as we have seen that most of the education institute the time of independence were clustered in the central part of the country where the economic development was there. Even though Government of India has tried to set up various technical institutes, national universities and training centers for the skill development of the different areas, but due to certain socio-economic reasons of those areas, we have not seen that significant development of those areas, and due to that the kind of human development we could have seen in our country has not been achieved so far, which has deliberately resulted into poverty, unemployment and regional imbalance. Inadequate infrastructure. As I mentioned previously, just due to the availability of natural resources cannot solve the problem. A state must have a technology, the right policies and the mines in a manner that use them in an environment friendly manner, that money can be, wealth can be generated out of it. But due to certain problems like unavailability of railway tracks, road connectivities or the technology, we have failed to get mileage out of it. Governance. Some states have significantly delivered far better job than other states over the period of 6 decades of our independence. States like Punjab and Haryana, where they focused very clearly on the green revolution and the industrialization in their respective states. They have achieved quite high per capita income, net state domestic production than most of the other states. States like Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi has also delivered on most of the indicators and very highly in the last 3 decades. But other states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh has failed in that part, even though they had a good water resources, forest and natural resources with them. Poor budgetary resources. Some of these states, northeastern states, where they have good natural resources, but they cannot convert those resources into the tax revenue, and due to that their budget always fails, and they are always dependent on the central government for the various supports, and due to poor administrative skills they have failed to deliver on the parameter of reducing the regional imbalance. What are the effects made by the regional imbalances? It gives the political instability in our country. We face several demands in the different people. Nation security is challenged because of this thing. They are the people, they get support from outside of the country, and they are creating problem because of the youth are not employed properly, or they are not getting the quality of life. There are several demands of state separation like Telangana movement or the Vidarbha movement, because people over there feels they are not getting what they deserve. Poor quality of life and migration. And migration creates another problem, that people from the backward areas migrate to the area which are delivering better job, and they create the population problem and the condition over there also, and this way problem not only get spread over there also, but it makes the life in the cities also very complicated. What are the methods of reducing regional imbalances? The government has various schemes which are as follows: centrally sponsored schemes, non-plan transfers, allocation of normal central assistance for state plans, Rashtriya Sem Vikas Yojana, and backward district grant fund. If we look at the Rashtriya Sem Vikas Yojana, it was made to focus on 147 special districts, which consist of 32 Naxalite affected districts and 115 backward districts. The scheme has a budget of 15 crore rupees for 3 years to develop those districts. In the 11th 5th year plan, government changed the Sem Vikas Yojana to the backward district grant fund, where the government has given 170 districts against 147 districts of the previous Rashtriya Sem Vikas Yojana, and the budget has been increased over there. Central sponsored schemes. These schemes are as follows: Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, Indira Awas Yojana, Accelerated Rural Water Supply Program, Drought Prone Areas and Desert Development Program, and Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. As the name of these schemes itself shows, that government intention is to give them Rozgar or the water supply or the residence facility to the poor people, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe or the backward districts. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act is the biggest scheme across the globe, which is run by the government of India to provide the guaranteed employment to the poor people of selected districts. Friends, let us summarize what we have discussed so far in our class of regional imbalance. First, we discussed the concept of regional imbalance, the concept given by the Interministry Task Force on the regional imbalance, and the concept given by Mr. Karl Marx. Then we study the groups and committee which were formulated by the government of India, state governments and the planning commission, and the recommendations. We shall keep in mind the different indicators selected by this committee has always been aligned with the objective of these committees. The next topic we study was indicators of regional imbalances, in which we discussed the 3 different indicators like economic indicators, infrastructure indicators and the quality of life indicator. According to the requirement of the committees have selected these different indicators to study the regional imbalance. Further, we studied the cause of regional imbalance of historical cause, the geographical reasons or the governance failure and the natural resource availability and the endowment of them. Effects of regional imbalance was further studied by us and the consequences of it. The last topic we discussed was what are the methods of the Government of India to reduce the regional imbalance in our country. We should be happy to know that due to the certain policies formulated by the Government of India on all the parameters, we have seen a significant improvement in our country, whether it is a poverty reduction program, whether it is a literacy program, electrification of our country, or availability of power, resources, hospitals. Even the single parameter for the quality of life we discuss in the end is average age of our life, our countrymen, then it is consistently increasing over the period of last 6 decades, which is a good indicator that our country is on the right track to reduce the regional imbalances. Thank you.